In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to calculate your edibles or topicals dosage with my dosage calculator. You will want to use this calculator anytime you need to calculate the total milligrams of THC or CBD in an infusion you make. And then again when you want to calculate your dosage per serving of an edible or per application of a topical you make from your infusion. One note about the calculator before starting. Always use the measurement it asks for. Sometimes it's grams, sometimes it's ounces. It also depends on the calculator you're using, as I created both standard and metric versions of this calculator. But note that even the standard version does use some metric numbers, as that's how cannabis is measured in most places. If you ever need to convert any measurements, I also include a kitchen measurement converter with the dosage calculator. Okay, let's get started. For both edibles and topicals calculations, we first need to know the strength of our cannabis. So step 1 of our example is calculate the cannabis strength. For our example, we're going to use cannabis that is 10% THC, as that's the national average, and also 10 is a nice round number that makes it easy to understand. For step 2 of our example, we need to calculate the strength of the entire batch of infusion. Let's say you're going to use a half ounce or 14 grams of marijuana, because grams is what the calculator asks for. Now, depending on what you plan to do with your infusion, you might be able to stop right here. With this calculation, you would know what the entire batch of oil or butter or whatever you're infusing will contain about 1,400 milligrams of THC or CBD. However, most of the time, you're going to make something with some or all of the infusion. So, for the next calculation, enter the amount of oil or butter or whatever you're infusing to get a calculation of how much THC or CBD is in an ounce of your infusion. Let's say for our example that you're going to infuse a half a cup or 4 ounces of oil. This will give you 350 milligrams of THC or CBD in each ounce of the oil. Note that the metric calculator uses milliliters instead of ounces, so the calculations are slightly different, yet the end result is the same. This brings us to step 3, calculating dosage per serving or per application. Let's say your recipe or formula asks for 2 ounces of infusion. You enter a 2 here. Next, the calculator asks for how many servings your recipe makes, or how many applications it makes in the case of a topical product. For this example, let's say your recipe or formula makes 16 edibles or applications, so we enter a 16 here. And voila! Your calculation is complete, and your edibles or topicals will have about 44 milligrams of THC or CBD per serving or application. Feel free to adjust the step 3 numbers up or down to attain a specific dose that you're looking for. For instance, reduce the amount of infusion or make more servings or applications for a lower per serving dose. Granted, you won't always know exactly how many applications you'll get out of a topical, but I try to estimate this in the formulas provided in my online topicals course. You'll also find an information sheet that estimates the typical per application amount of various types of topicals in the resources section of that course, right down to how many applications you can expect to get out of the typical lip balm.